Buenos dias, bienvenidos. Welcome to the first Hispanic Heroes Power Hour with a very, very special guest that we have all the way from the White House. We're so very excited to have him. Thank you so much for participating in this event. We are so grateful and so excited about being able to offer this wonderful talk and listening chat while we celebrate Hispanic heritage at Hillsborough County Public Schools. I want to talk a little bit, just a brief introduction about ¿Qué es Power Hour? Power Hour is a program that Hillsborough County Public Schools puts together to be able to engage our family and community. And the mission is to provide parents and families and the community with the necessary tools and skills to support students academically, socially, emotionally, while building a cornerstone to a healthier and safe community. La misión de la Academia Virtual de Padres de HCPS es proporcionarles a los padres, a las familias y la comunidad las herramientas y habilidades necesarias para apoyar a los estudiantes académicamente, socialmente y emocionalmente, mientras construyen una piedra angular para una comunidad más saludable y segura. Hoy tenemos a nuestro invitado, Emmanuel Caudillo. Today we are chatting with Emmanuel Caudillo, who is the Senior Advisor for the White House Initiative on Advancing Educational Equity, Excellence, and Economic Opportunity for Hispanics. Welcome. Mr. Caudillo, so happy to have you with us today. I'm going to just introduce a brief bio of this amazing human being. As the Senior Advisor for the White House Initiative, he oversees the operational duties of the initiative, outreach to Hispanic serving institutions, managing Hispanic education resources from federal agencies, and conducting youth engagement activities. From 2009 to 2013, he was a budget analyst at the U.S. Department of Education, overseeing the Student Aid Administration account. And in that role, he prepared the congressional justifications for the salaries and expenses of the Office of Federal Student Aid. He has also held research positions in various organizations, including ABT Associates and the National Council on Teacher Quality. For his commitment to his community, Emmanuel was named 40 under 40 from the Leadership Center for Excellence in 2015. He also was a 2017 Ricardo Salinas Scholar at the Aspen Institute, and in 2019-2020, Excellence in Government Fellow at the Partnership for Public Service. Originally from Los Angeles, he holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Southern California and a master's of public policy from George Washington University. His passion for education is due to the strong sense of duty and commitment his parents instilled in him. Emmanuel Caudillo es el asesor principal de la iniciativa de la Casa Blanca para promover la equidad, la excelencia y las oportunidades económicas en la educación para los hispanos. En esta función supervisa las funciones operativas de la iniciativa, el alcance a las universidades de HSI o instituciones de servicio a los hispanos, la gestión de los recursos educativos de la agencia federales y la realización de actividades de participación de los jóvenes. De 2009 a 2013 fue analista presupuestario en el Departamento de Educación de los Estados Unidos, donde supervisó la cuenta de administración de ayuda estudiantil. También ha ocupado puestos de investigación en varias organizaciones. Igual, por su compromiso con su comunidad, Emmanuel fue nombrado 40 bajo 40 por el Centro de Liderazgo Excelente en 2015. Y también fue becario de Ricardo Salinas 2017 en el Instituto Aspen y también becario de Excelencia en Gobierno 2019 a 2020. Originario de Los Ángeles, tiene una licenciatura de la Universidad del Sur de California y una maestría en políticas públicas de la Universidad George Washington. Su pasión por la educación se debe al fuerte sentido del deber y compromiso que le inculcaron sus padres. So, bienvenido, Emmanuel. Gracias. Thank you so much for being here. We're so very excited to be chatting with you today. And so, with that, I just want to ask you some questions, if that's okay with you, and we'll start there. Perfect. Thank you so much. So, as we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage today, and in the month of September 15th through October 15th, I'd be very curious. I want you to tell us about your heritage and what does it mean to you, and how has it really shaped the way that you've engaged in the world and your professional experience?
Mhm. Well, good morning and buenos días. Y gracias a todos los estudiantes, maestros y padres que han venido aquí. Gracias. Good morning, everybody. And I'm going to say thank you to all our students and teachers and parents that have joined us here today. I also want to say thank you to you, Araceli, and the Hillsborough Public County School District for hosting this series and this event today. I'm very honored to be here and join you all here today.
Thank you.
And so Hispanic heritage defines who I am. And I think and one thing I like about the Hispanic heritage is that it's multicultural, it's multilingual. And there's so much variety in regards to the Hispanic culture that you're always learning something new about that. You learn from somebody from a different culture, from a different area, even if someone's from a different country. I mean, I'm of Mexican descent, and I may meet someone who may be of Cuban descent or Puerto Rican and so forth. But even then, there's also more different layers of cultures, even in the different countries as well. And so that's what makes this heritage so unique. It also makes it so enriching as well. We're always learning something new and then celebrating that. And so there's the Hispanic culture. To me, I wrap myself around it. My family's from Mexico, and so we're of Mexican descent. Both my parents immigrated to the United States, and so I was the first one born in the United States. And right away, I was very happy that my family kept the culture. We kept the language. A lot of it is that my dad had moved early on in his life to the United States, and he lived in an era where we lived in Los Angeles, California, where he didn't have to learn English. So he never learned the language. So he only spoke in Spanish. And so right away, I had to be bilingual, one speaking in Spanish at home in order to communicate with my dad, and of course, learning English. And so right away, we kept that language in the house. Other things in regards to Hispanic culture is family. The importance of family in the Hispanic culture is critical. And that's something that we grew up a lot with, whether I spent so much time growing up with my cousins, that was almost like we were siblings.
Yeah.
And I think that was just amazing to see. And that I take with me as well to this day. My family was so encouraging throughout school, throughout my college, and in the professional world as well. And so when it comes to family, I switched the roles now, where I invite them to join me in some of the things that I do here in Washington, as a way of saying thank you to them. Because to me, family is important in that no matter where we go, whether it's to college or in the professional world, we take our families with us, because that's an integral part of our identity.
Got it. That is very, very true. You hit that on the nail. I think, yes, I would agree 100% that Hispanos, Latinos are 100% focused on the identity of our family as part of our of how we embrace the world. Tell us a little bit about the White House initiative. Tell us about what your role is, and really more so, what the work looks like for communities.
Oh, definitely, Araceli. And so the White House initiative first started in 1990. It was created through an executive order by then President George H.W. Bush. And at the time, they wanted to have a White House focus on the Hispanic community, because in education, the Hispanic community wasn't doing so well when it came to high school graduation and even in college enrollment. And since then, each administration has extended that executive order, of course, including new things to each order as part of the administration priorities. And so just about a few weeks ago, on September 13th of this year, President Biden signed the executive order reestablishing the White House initiative on advancing educational equity, excellence, and economic opportunity for Hispanics. And so we're very excited about this new executive order, because I believe it's a call to action. Even in our title, it's not just a noun title, there's a verb, advancing educational equity. And so that's something that We look forward to working with our partners at the federal government, but also our partners in the community nationwide, because this is something that cannot just be done by ourselves. It has to be done with a strong network and everyone working together on this. And so what is this a little bit? Well, I like to go into the title to explain a little about this initiative. One, it's advancing educational equity. It's looking at areas where we need to focus on, especially to our underserved students. What are the barriers that are not allowing our students to succeed in high school or in college? What are the things that we need to bring down? Where are the areas that we need to increase access to? And this includes the things like early learning programs. It's increasing access to our advanced courses throughout middle school and high school. It's looking to access to technology resources such as broadband or equipment like computers and so forth. And then when it comes to excellence, we don't want to just close the gap, like the academic gap or the equity gap. We don't just want to close it. We want to advance right beyond it, because there's already things that are happening across the country supporting our students. And we want to make sure people know about them. We want to make sure that we celebrate the excellence that are happening in our community, whether it's schools, universities, or colleges that are doing great job in not just enrolling Hispanic students, but serving them and allowing them to graduate with a degree. It's schools that are doing a great job in supporting their students. Just last week, I think 2 weeks ago, the secretary announced the National Blue Ribbon Schools. And so this is an honor, one of the highest honors that are given to our individual schools. Of the around 200 schools that were awarded this year with that honor, 38 of those schools had a Hispanic student population of over 40%, including some that are serving beyond, even above 9%. That means these are our top schools that are supporting their Hispanic students. We need to let people know about that, because that's amazing. Those are, what are those programs that we could put in our, that we could put in a district or something that could use in our communities in order to support our students. So it's about that excellence that, in order to, and also it's okay to celebrate the progress that our students are having in regards to increasing high school graduation rates, increasing college enrollment rates, and so forth. And then the economic opportunity. We know that in order to compete for the top jobs in this country and also around the globe as well, we don't just need to have the strong academic background. We also need to have the hands-on learning experience as well. And so these are increasing access to opportunities such as mentorships, internships, fellowships, working with ways to ensure that our students, that when they graduate with their highest degree, whether that be an associate degree or even up to a doctoral, postdoctoral degree, that they'll also have that hands-on learning. And so they can compete just along with any other person for those top jobs in those top organizations. And so those are a little bit about the initiative that we're looking very much forward to working with. We're looking to, this is something that we want to hear from our community, whether it's like, here are the gaps that we're seeing, or hey, here are the best effective practices that are happening here. And those are the things that we want to work together with this new initiative.
That really is really interesting. I think that a couple of things that you pointed out are some of the things that we see within our own community, right? It's helping our students see people that represent them, that represent their culture, that represent their identity. That is always very empowering for our youth, and it makes a really big difference. And then your point on, making sure that students know the level of leadership that they could take and what the potential is for them at the highest level. And I love that you said that, because I think that youth need to hear more about that. Tell us a little about who inspires you, and who inspired you to get to where you are as a senior advisor for the White House, as a young Latino male. What are the things that really kind of inspired you to be where you are?
A great question, Araceli. To me, I have to go back to my parents, both my mom and my dad. I would say they inspired me incredibly. A lot is because of the sacrifices that they made in order for not just me, but also for my younger brother to succeed. They did a lot to help support us. And what I mean by that is I don't mean necessarily by like, providing lots of resources or or even helping with our advanced math homework in high school, but it was their encouraging words. It was always their encouraging words that they shared with us, that I thought that helped me so much. And also wanting to make them proud as well, because I knew that this was an opportunity that we had that they didn't have, for many reasons. Both my parents, for many reasons, were unable to go to college, and there were things that was beyond it was beyond their choice. I mean, and so to have this opportunity to go to college, to then even come to the federal government, I just look into my parents and try to make them proud. Even at my age right now, I still try to make them proud, and as a way to say thank you to them for all their hard work in doing this, because I think it's important. It's something that drove me even during some tough times there. And so I would say those both my mom and my dad were my main inspirations that helped drive me here. But also another thing as well, I would say, that helped me get into work was just not just beyond my family, but also my extended family as well. How I got, when I talk about breaking down barriers to college education, is because I've seen that happen before to my family, where they would want to go to college, but they didn't have the assistance to help them go navigate through it. And so what happens, they never finished it. And so to me, that stuck by me at an early age right away. I'm like, they are just as talented and intelligence to be able to accomplish that, but they just didn't have the navigation or the support because they were first generation. And so that to me also motivated me in my work, saying this has to change, something has to be done. And it's what's been driving my work. First, when I was as a budget analyst for federal student aid, I'm saying, all right, wonderful. Let's make it easier for our students to have access to Pell Grants, and these opportunities to make college affordable. And even with the initiative now to ensure, like, here are the resources that are available to ensure our students have the support they need to complete their education.
That's great. I mean, I think you touched on some critical barriers that we see a lot with our students, right? Grassroots, in terms of like filling out a FAFSA form and what that even means, and the role that parents have with what that is, as well as access to advanced placement, dual enrollment. Can you tell us a little bit about what you think prepared you in school? What are some of the things that you took advantage of in middle and high school that you think helped give you that access and propel you forward?
Well, I think there was a couple programs during my high school that I think helped me a lot. One of them was being in student council. I was able to serve many years as a leader in student council, even as the first vice president. So that taught me a lot about leadership. It gave me it turned what was a shy person into an outgoing person, just due to building up my confidence on the things here to serve our students. So I think that was an incredible opportunity to serve many years there. In addition, I think a resource that we had was a strong counseling. I had a strong counselor in my high school days, and that helped a lot. For instance, let me tell you this story. So I was getting ready for my 12th grade classes. I was going to set them up, and I gave it to my counselor. I said to my counselor, well, I want to go to Georgetown. I want to go to these top universities. But I think I already did enough for my first 3 years. So I think I could coast my senior year. I could take it easy. So I had a few academic courses, but then I had a lot of the courses that, weren't academic, but, they were more fun courses, I would say. And my counselor looked at that and she said, yeah, you're not going to go to Georgetown with this schedule. Let's try to beef it up. And even though 17-year-old me was a little disappointed, in the end, I was very thankful for that, because she was able to give me put me in some additional courses that she knew I was ready for. And I think also helped me prepare not just to get into college, but also the workload as well, because the courses at colleges could be a little bit tougher. And so it prepared me at least to know like what to look for when I entered my college. So I was very thankful to my counselor who tore up my schedule and gave me a new one that was very tough. But I think because she had the confidence that I would be able to succeed in it. And then later on, use that as a springboard to college. And so I'm very thankful for.
That's amazing. As a former counselor, I'm very proud of your counselor. So, and so now, I'd like to ask you, what are some motivational thoughts that you could leave our youth with, our families with, our community with? What are some things that that you believe are really have centered you, not only with your heritage, but also, motivating them to move forward?
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely. I think for the students, I would say, if you find your passion, go with it. Yes, sometimes the steps you may plan may not go to what it is. There may be some detours here and there, and that's normal. That happens to everybody. I can show you my career path, and it definitely did not go as a straight line. You'll find opportunities that'll come by that you may not see. And I just want to tell you one thing to the students, and use this not just in your high school or in college, but also in your professional life. If a mentor or somebody of influence says that you're ready for it, you're ready for it, even if you don't feel like you're ready for that opportunity. I would say, and I say this more on the professional level, because when I got the position for the White House Initiative 10 years ago, I'll be honest, I almost didn't take it. I know it sounds crazy. I almost didn't take it because I didn't feel I had the confidence. I didn't have the confidence, or I didn't feel like I was ready for it. But I was very happy that my coworkers when my fellow budget analyst coworkers were saying, Emmanuel, these opportunities don't come by at all. You're ready for it. Go for it. And that helped me take it. And so I would say to you, if someone tells you you're ready for it, even if you don't feel like it, you're ready for it. Take advantage of it. And another word of advice to students is that sometimes we may feel what we call imposter syndrome, which is a feeling where you're at a college, like maybe a Stanford or a top state school, and you may feel like you're left out. You may feel like, oh, you don't belong. It's important to shake off those feelings, shake off them, and know that if you're in that college, you're in that university, you're in that AP course, that dual enrollment course, is because you've earned it and you deserve to be there. And so switch it around and say, no, I'm here because I earned it. I could do this. And use that to move you forward, because sometimes that hurts a lot, especially in our community as well, where we feel like I don't belong, and so we usually leave. But instead, it's like no, I do belong, and I want to be able to continue moving forward there. And so I would definitely share that advice in regards to that, because they're going to be, especially if you're a first generation student, you're a trailblazer. You're gonna be feeling that a lot, because it's tough to have not somebody be able to share that with. And so I tell you, as you continue moving along with that, as you move forward and progress, be sure to always give back, because you also want to make the path easier for those behind you, whether they be your siblings, they may be your younger brother, younger sister, it could be friends, or even in the future classmates that may be coming up. And so make sure you give back. You have to give back. We have to help each other. This is not something where we just do it ourselves or benefits ourselves. We have to give back. And so that's something that I would share with students as well. And for parents, I'll say both in English and Spanish. I would say is that encourage your students. Encourage your students. I know sometimes we try to be helpful, especially when it comes to the homework, but there comes a time when you would be unable to. I mean, by fourth grade, my parents were unable to help me with my homework. They're like, we like to help you, son, but we can't. But they still were very helpful to me. So, animar a sus hijos a la escuela. Y si no puedes ayudar con su tarea, diles palabras de aliento. So give them those encouraging words. They mean so much. Soy muy útiles para ellos esas palabras de aliento. Y mientras piensan en la universidad, déjalos decidir a dónde ir. Hay recursos y becas para ayudarlos a ir a la universidad. Y escúchalos y sea ahí para ellos. Muéstralos que estás orgullosos de ellos. Y ayúdalos a crecer, porque eso va a ser suficiente por ellos. porque sus sueños son tus sueños. And so just want to just share that, translate that back to English, saying is that your encouraging words, parents, your encouraging words mean so much. I could tell you just how much it means to me and to my brother, the encouraging words of both my mom and my dad. And while we're thinking about university, let your children decide where to go. Let them dream. I know sometimes it could be scary about thinking your child leaving to go to another state, to another city or another state. But let them decide and know that there are resources and scholarships to help make college more affordable. Sometimes we get shocked by the sticker shock and think, well, it's too expensive. It's a great university, but I don't know if we could afford it. There are more resources now than ever to help ensure that our students could afford colleges. And so make sure you do that. In addition, just listen to us and be there with us. We just know that what we're doing is okay. Because sometimes we're afraid of like, I don't even know if this is working or not. And because we don't have a mentor or someone out there,
Yeah.
our parents are our person that we could lean to, and also show us that you're proud of us. Please do. Sometimes, we do our best to show, to do our best for our folks in school, and make sure you tell us that you're proud of us, because that means so much. And it may not, and these words of advice may not mean much, may not like allude to much, but it means so much to us as students. I know that from personal experience. And so that's just a couple of words of advice I would give to both our students and parents.
That's fantastic. I mean, it really hones in on the focus that even the smallest things or the smallest statements in the daily life of a family, right, are so critical in helping kind of propel our kids to the next stage and helping them when they don't have the confidence to move forward. Thank you for that and for all of those. And I think those are all very, very valid things that I would have loved to hear also as a young person. So now we're going to turn it over to take some questions from the participants. And so it looks like we've got quite a few people agreeing with you, saying yes, shake off that imposter syndrome and know that you are there because you belong there. Our first question is, what do you see as the biggest challenge that Latino students face?
Mm-hmm. I think some of the challenges that our students face sometimes is one is a lack of awareness of what's available out there. And I say this in regards to thinking of careers. When we think of college and thinking of like what major we would like to have, usually the two jobs that our parents sometimes give us, and I know mine did, was lawyers and doctors. Why? Because they see them on TV and they are very successful and they make a lot of money, and so they could live comfortably. But there's so much that's out there. And so what happens is sometimes our students go for that and then they trip up at a course. And then because they do, they go, oh my gosh, I don't belong here. And so they leave, not knowing that there's other areas like in STEM that you don't need to be a doctor, but you could be a researcher. You could be, there's so many out there that you could do in that area. Or if you don't want to be as a lawyer, you could go as a policy analyst. You could use your writing talents to do writing and so forth. There's so much that's out there that sometimes we don't know because we're just unaware of it. We're a lot of times when it comes to, for instance, financial aid, we're unaware that what's out there. For instance, like right now, just knows, and I'll just use it as a time to help promote it because it's the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. Especially for our seniors out there or for those thinking of going to college next year, please fill it out. That is step one and probably the most important step that a student and a family could take to go to college is filling out that form. Even if you don't know which college exactly you're going to, still complete it because it provides it provides the federal government information as well as the state government. So not just the federal government, but also the state of Florida to know like how much aid they could provide you in order to go to college, but also provide the different options of aid that's out there. So it's not simply like, oh, we have to go to college, let's get a private loan, which have high interest rates and they don't have that flexibility in case you get behind on payments. But when you go with the federal government's financial aid, you have Pell Grants. Those are fun dollars you don't need to pay back. They're free.
Yeah.
There's direct loans in which you we'll have to pay back, but there's flexibility on how to pay back, and the interest rates are much lower than those of private loans. And so there's a lot, I think the biggest challenge that our students face is that we don't know what's out there, even in courses in the schools, not knowing like, oh, I didn't know I could take AP calculus, or I didn't know I could take this advanced course in English in middle school. I just didn't know that's out there. And so I think that a big challenge is making that more aware for our students to know that it's possible to do that, to be able to take advantage of those courses. And so I think that's a big challenge. Of course, there's other challenges in regards to resources availability that here in the federal government, we're working to try to ensure that our students have those resources to succeed. So those are just a few things.
Thank you. I actually love that question, because while it is a challenge that Latino students face, it's definitely a challenge that any first generation student, college student is going to go through, because there's nobody there to kind of like, that's opened that knowledge base for them. So there's a lot of support that needs to happen there. Perfect. Our next question is, what can we do as citizens and educators to further open the door of opportunity for our students? This is coming from an educator. What can we do as citizens and educators to further open the door of opportunity for our students?
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that question. And so there's a few things. One is be sure to continue just sharing out information to your students and to your families. Be creative in sharing the information out. So if you're, doing a course in math, feel free to share stuff about like, well, what does this math do in regards to future careers? And it's things well, it's for accounting or business and so forth. In addition, sharing just the different, resources that are out there to support our parents for parental engagement and different resources out. Feel free to share that. But I think a lot in regards to opening doors is being there for the students. I would say, being supportive of students as they're going through school. And our teachers are already doing that already, and I applaud our teachers for continuing doing that. I know it's a tough environment, especially with the pandemic and going back to in-person school, and so I commend you all already for already doing that already. But I think continuing what you're doing and care for the students, providing, sharing, bringing that awareness to our students, especially our first generation students, about these are the resources that are out there. But also sharing effective practices. And we're here at the initiative, we're always open to hear, what's, those effective practices, those celebratory things that we could share and celebrate with. And so I think, feel free, we always welcome to share that. Feel free to share that with us.
That's awesome. Our next question is, are there any initiatives specifically under the White House initiative to support teachers in the education field, professional development initiatives? What, how is that supporting? And I would further this question with, we even in our district are trying to find innovative ways to help create pathways for large Hispanic student population, and our representation of teachers could definitely increase so that teachers have students have access to representation. And so that's a great question. How is that supporting leadership amongst teachers?
Well, definitely, that's a great question, and no, that's something that is a priority here in the Department of Education under leadership of Secretary Cardona, who himself started off as a teacher.
Yeah.
And so know that that's something that we're working on this area as well, trying to make more visible the pathway to become a teacher, and be able to because we need more especially more Hispanic teachers out there. I mean, right now, across the nation, Hispanics make up about 27% of all K-12 students, but only 9% of all K-12 teachers are Hispanics. And so we need more, because there's a positive benefit of having Hispanic teachers in the classroom. One, for Latinx students, it's having someone of authority that you can look up to. It's like a role model. And also, two, is that it also benefits folks of other races too. It helps in regards to race relations there as well, knowing like, okay, there's someone of a Hispanic authority there. And so there's the benefit that goes with that. And so other things that we're trying to work around here, at least with the initiative, is I know we're trying to share the effective practices of the teacher education programs. how they're recruiting Hispanic teachers, Hispanic prospective teachers to go into the teacher workforce, as well as something that we do here at the initiative as well is highlight our teachers through our Latinos Teach campaign, in which we want our teachers to share about why they teach, what motivated them to teach, and be able to share those messages of encouragement to prospective teachers to know, like, hey, this is something that I could do. And I'm sure there's many more areas that we're working on to ensure that we make that pathway for our teachers in regards to recruitment, but also in retainment as well.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Are there any final thoughts or feelings that you'd like to share that you want to make sure that takeaways? Any takeaways that you'd like for our students and our families and community to leave with?
Oh, definitely. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you, Araceli, for this opportunity. And I thank you once again for being here and being part of this conversation. I just want to be able to share to our students is that you have a limitless potential. And we want to make sure that we're here, you're able to achieve your dreams, whatever that may be. And so we want to work all of us together. It's not something that just we do here in just Washington, D.C., but also partner up with our teachers and our community on the ground to ensure that our students have the support needed to be able to achieve their dreams. And I just wanted to say, keep going, move forward, go for them, chase that dream that you like. Know that you have supports there, mentors and teachers and counselors they're there to support. And we want to hear your stories. Be proud of your culture. Be proud of being a Latinx student. Be proud of being Hispanic. Show it off, in your schools and your community, because that's who you are. It's your part of your identity. We want to make sure that and like I said, all that is, adds to the richness and the benefit of our country overall. And so I just want to be able to share that. And I look very much forward to hearing, just stories upon stories of success among our community, and let us know how we could help, because that's what we're here for, to help serve you and be able to support all our students. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic. And we will certainly be reaching out for sure. Thank you so much, seriously, for taking it. We're so grateful for you taking the time to be able to converse and have a really authentic conversation with our youth, with our families, with our community. You're yourself an inspiration. You should be able to take that away with you as well. And we're so very proud of your role at the White House. So thank you so much for joining us today. Everyone, thank you so much for joining our Power Hour today. We had an amazing lineup in the last 3 weeks, and we are going to be actually also having another Power Hour tomorrow. I'm sorry, not tomorrow, next week. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the next presenter. If this will cooperate, let's see. Yes, here we go. So next week, our next Hispanic Hero conversation will happen on October 13th at 11 a.m. with Luis Gonzalez, who is a legendary baseball player and has an actual local hero, because he went to Jefferson High School. So we are very, very proud of him, and we are looking forward to hosting him and hosting the community on this call. Again, thank you so much, Emmanuel, for your participation. I really appreciate you joining us, and very much grateful for the continued partnership that I'm sure we will have. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.